Moo. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to Moo Mondays or MOOOndays. I have gone way back, 5 years back, as it were. Puck, could you not just smash the door open like you're fucking Shrek once in your goddamn life? Look at his face. He's like, no, I can't. I must. It is very important to me. I don't have anything. I have a cup of tea. I haven't had tea in 3 days. I also just got out of the shower. So, yeah, pardon me. But let's fucking go. Are you guys ready? We're going to be talking about Nick Rekieta and a little bit of his relationship, or how his relationship with Mignogna started. For anybody who doesn't know, Nick Rekieta is a lawyer, lives in a small town, makes money by being angry on the internet and drinking. Hi, Puck. Must you? But I don't know if you guys can see him. He's right here. Oh. Hi, buddy. Hi, Stinky. Yeah, okay. You're a good boy. He's definitively not. Alright. So, for anybody who doesn't know who Mignogna is, Mignogna was a prolific voice actor in the early 2000s, was probably the height of his, mid to early 2000s was the height of his popularity. He's gotten into some legal or financial trouble, I guess. It's hard to say that he's gotten in legal trouble because he instigated these lawsuits. So it's more of like he keeps shooting himself in the foot because there were some very unpleasant accusations made about him. Now, some of those things he has admitted to, and some of those things he has vehemently denied. But regardless of however you currently feel about Mignogna, he's kind of a goofy little guy that I like to talk about on a regular basis. He's also incredibly transphobic and racist, so that's a bit of a problem. But, whatever. That's, whatever. So we should talk real quickly about where Rekieta law is currently with his legal matter. This is the most recent filing. So this is the state of Minnesota, and this is the state of Minnesota versus Nick Rekieta. Court filing number, you can look this up yourself if you want, but the above entitled matter came before the Honorable Stephen J. Wenzel, Judge of the District Court, on August 21st, 2024, and is for an omnibus hearing. Defendant Nick Rekieta appeared and was represented by Francis White, attorney at law. State of Minnesota appeared through their lawyers. So Nick did get a lawyer. So good on him. You should get a lawyer. Defendant is charged with 3 counts: second-degree controlled substance possession, a felony in violation of Minnesota Statute 152.022, sub 2A1, possession of a firearm, pistol / semi-automatic military-style assault weapon ammunition by an ineligible person, a gross misdemeanor in violation of Minnesota Statute 624.713, sub 110.3 or III. And child endangerment exposure to controlled substance, a gross misdemeanor in violation of Minnesota Statute 609.378, 1B2. So if anybody was curious about what he was actually being charged with as of right now, second-degree controlled substance possession of a firearm, pistol, semi-automatic military-style assault weapon / ammunition by ineligible person, and child endangerment. So those are the 3 main charges, at least those are the ones that are being talked about here. Defendant seeks a Franks hearing and contests seizure of the firearms. At the hearing, the defendant offered and the court received without objection Exhibit 1, application for a search warrant, 2, Exhibit 2, Rekieta video.pptx, Exhibit 3, substantial report 1, Exhibit 4, Rekieta.png, and Exhibit 5, letter from KCHHS. Defendant offered the state The state objected to Exhibit 6 recording of Steel Toe Morning Show from May 22nd, 2024. The court took admissibility of Exhibit 6 under advisement. After review, the courts determined Exhibit 6 is admissible as an offer of proof. State uploaded Exhibit 10, a Nick Rekieta stream on August 30th, 2024, after technical difficulties with previous MNDES video uploads. Supplemental Report 8 uploaded on MNDES and referred to in defendant's reply memorandum was not offered nor received at the hearing. Following a brief schedule, the court took the matter under advisement on September 6, 2024. Based upon the files, exhibits, records, proceedings, and being fully advised in the premise, the court makes the following finding of fact. The good shit. 1. On May 22nd, 2024, Quinn Poplin of the County Sheriff's Office submitted an application for a search warrant supporting affidavit and search warrant regarding the premise of where he lives. Search warrant was for controlled substances. The address was subject to search warrant known by Deputy Poplin to the defendant's residence. The search warrant was controlled substance prohibited by law, paraphernalia commonly associated with sale/use of controlled substances, and items that show controlled substances use that are not legal drug paraphernalia. The search warrant was signed by a district court judge on May 22nd, 2024. Search warrant application states that on May 16th, 2024, the Sheriff's Office received a report of possible child neglect and controlled substance use involving a defendant and his minor children. 4. Deputy Poplin reviewed the defendant's social media videos. Deputy Poplin notes that defendant's appearance in the videos changed from January 2024 to May 2024. His changes in appearance were noted as common with controlled substance use. Quotes. Deputy Poplin reviewed Aaron's social media videos. That's another YouTuber. He hosts his own social video program. Watching his videos, it is apparent that the defendant Aaron previously had a relationship and have since had a falling out. Aaron states in his videos that he has recently experimented with cocaine and Molly. Molly meaning, Mary Jane, the marijuana. On May 22nd, 2024, Aaron uploaded a video where he spoke about defendant, which, again, to repeat, the defendant is Nick Rekieta in this case, and insinuated defendant was using controlled substances. During Aaron's May 22nd, 2024 video, he referred to a video posted by defendant on May 22nd, 2024. Aaron notes that white powdery substance can be seen on defendant's nose during defendant's May 21st, 2024 video. Defendant's May 21st, 2024 video was removed from the internet. Deputy Poplin was able to review the defendant's May 21st, 2024 video. Defendant's May 21st, 2024 video is 4 hours and 4 minutes at length. At approximately 2 minutes and 46, defendant leaves the video to use the restroom. Upon his return, approximately 2 hours, 50 minutes and 40 seconds, defendant appears with a white powdery substance on his nose. Defendant's demeanor is excited. At one point closes his eyes to be able to read the screen, rambles and slurs his speech. Deputy Poplin was previously a drug recognition evaluator based on Deputy Poplin's Poploons. I might be pronouncing his name incorrectly. I apologize. Training and experience. Defendant's behavior in May 21st, 2024 video indicates polysubstance abuse. Deputy notes defendant's behavior is consistent with using both a central nervous system stimulant and a depressant. The deputy summaries of Aaron's May 22nd, 2024 video and defendant's May 21st, 2024 video are accurate. There is no indication that law enforcement viewed an altered or edited version of defendant's May 21st, 2024 video. Even if it was not the original posted video. And see, this is one of the things about the internet, right? Things don't necessarily always go away, especially if you have armies of Kiwi Farms users watching every single thing you do, and when you're a lolcow. And I would also like to point out something that I think is at least notable, particularly with some of the previous stuff that we've talked about when it comes to lawsuits, is other people's videos were used as evidence. Aaron's video about Nick was used as evidence in this case. I just think that that's interesting and noteworthy and worth pointing out. Molly is MDMA, not Mary Jane. Really? In Canada, Molly is just okay. Maybe I'm just wrong. Wow, it's crazy that there's the terminology differences, man. There's so I guess to be fair, there's so many names for drugs, like it's so many. On May 23rd, 2024, law enforcement executed a search warrant at defendant's residence. Well, at the residence, the following items were found. Black vial with white substance inside the master bedroom near nightstand. Both items field tested positive for presence of cocaine. B, a yellow snort tube in master bedroom near nightstand, field tested positive for presence of cocaine. 2, 22 caliber spent shell castings in master bedroom near nightstand. Sig Saucer AR with several magazines and loose ammunition under the bed in the master bedroom. Glass container filled with metal filter. Sorry, that's not right. Glass container with metal filter, there we go, and grinder in master bedroom dresser field tested positive for presence of cocaine. A 45 caliber bullet in the master bedroom closet. A bag with cards and dollar bill in master bedroom safe field tested positive for presence of cocaine. Corner cut baggie with white powder in master bedroom safe field tested positive for cocaine. 3 small baggies in master bedroom safe field tested positive for cocaine. Green colored tablets in the master bedroom safe field tested positive for ketamine. Digital scale in master bedroom safe field tested positive for cocaine. Metal pan with white powder in master bedroom safe field tested positive for cocaine. 2 snort tubes and 2 metal cutters in master bedroom safe snort tube field tested positive for cocaine. A $100 bill with white powder residue in the master bedroom closet safe field tested positive for cocaine. Bindle white bag with white powder substance in master bedroom closet safe field tested positive for cocaine. Cocaine scooper in master bedroom closet safe. 2 baggies within a baggie with a funnel in master bedroom closet safe. Unknown brown substance in master bedroom closet field tested negative. Springfield Armory 45 caliber 1911 in garage closet safe. Sig Saucer 380 handgun in garage closet safe. 4 45 caliber magazines and 2 380 caliber magazines full of ammunition in garage closet safe. 45 and 223 ammunition in garage. Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun in garage. The total measurable weight of cocaine found during the execution of the search warrant was 26.67 grams with packaging. Do you think that's a lot? The information contained within the search warrant was accurate and reliable for the reviewing judge. There is no clear false statements, significant material omissions, or material misrepresentations that cause the search warrant to be false, misleading, or in violation of the defendant's constitutional rights. All facts contained in the memorandum of the court are incorporated by reference as finding of fact. Order. Whew! A Benjamin tube, how cliche, I know, right? Bro thinks he's Scarface. So, the order. The defendant's motion to schedule an evidentiary hearing pursuant to a Frank's challenge is denied. The defendant's motion to suppress the firearm/ammunition is denied. All other omnibus issues not argued with particularity or otherwise identified to the court as a contested issue at the omnibus hearing, whether included in the written notice or not, are denied, having been waived by the defendant. Court admission shall schedule a settlement conference. The memorandum of the court is incorporated by reference. By the court, signed by the honorable judge. And then there's like the memorandum of law, which we don't have to go over this time. But that's about where Nick Rekieta is at. He's swinging his bat the exact same level he did with Vic Mignogna in getting all of his motions fucking denied. So we'll see how that keeps going. From my understanding, he's at home. He's still streaming. That's not a big deal in that regard. I don't know if the kids are there or not. So if you're looking for that information, you're going to have to go elsewhere. I'm not big on talking about people's parenting or their children here on this channel very often, or very much, or at all if possible. So, if you want to find that out, I don't know, maybe watch more Nick Rekieta. So, Thank you so much, Mark, for becoming an Iron Goblin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Enjoy your puck emojis and enjoy your time in the Discord if you decide to join and hang out with us in there. So, this video is what we're going to look at today. I just wanted to make sure people kind of knew the update about where kind of Nick was in his legal situation. But this is a video 21 minutes long, 22 minutes long, 21:53. Yeah, you know what I mean. And this is a video from 2019. So this is Real Lawyer Explains Vic Mignogna's potential lawsuit asks for help. Right, this is February 18th, 2019. There's a link to the GoFundMe, which here, as you can see, ended up raising $291,882. As you can see, this is Nick Rekieta organizing this fundraiser on behalf of Beard Harris, organizer and beneficiary, and this was created February 19th of 2019. So this GoFundMe was created the day after this stream. Or video, sorry, I should say. Has anyone taken the top tier yet? No, nobody's taken the you mean the one that says this is the most that YouTube will allow me? That was just for testing. Nobody's actually supposed to take it. It was literally just to see how much YouTube would let a membership be. We were testing it while I was live on Dapper's channel. I was like, oh, I'll just go change mine and see how much it is. But welcome to Team Goblin. So, the description of this video says, Vic Mignogna's career has been irreparably damaged in a matter of weeks by allegations from his former friends and fans. He has been dropped from Funimation and Rooster Teeth and disinvited from several conventions. The damage is done and it is devastating. How does he fight back? Let me show you a way. Can you help? Email archive links and information to rekietalaw@gmail.com. I'll make sure it gets to the right place should Vic pursue a lawsuit. So, as you can see, this fundraiser was started before a lawsuit was filed, right? From my understanding, it's also before Vic Mignogna even knew it existed. As we watched last Monday, Vic was like, I actually didn't know about the lawsuit, or I didn't know about this money until afterward. So it was created without Vic Mignogna's knowledge in the first place. And from my understanding, Vic Mignogna has never had control and never seen any of that money. I don't even know if he's ever even seen proper receipts, because there's never been any proper receipts ever posted by Nick Rekieta or Ty Beard showing that this money has actually been handled appropriately and properly. And, you know, given Nick Rekieta, I smell a scam, potentially. I don't know. It's kind of really hard to be like, oh, where did all that money go? Was it up your nose? I don't know. Anyway, let's give this a listen, shall we?
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law.
You know what? At least he's upfront in that he is literally an internet lawyer. And, you know, if you're going into actual litigation, you should not be listening to or considering litigation. You should talk to a lawyer in your area and that is a professional in that field, not internet lawyers. But I apologize. Sorry, Nick. You go ahead, bud.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law Explaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And today I'm here to talk to you about what a case would look like if Vic Mignogna decided to sue everyone who ruined his career. All right? So buckle up. Let's talk about that. And then we'll close out this video with a call, a plea, and instructions for how you can help should Vic decide to do this, okay? So, brief backstory. On January 16th, the Broly movie dropped. Vic Mignogna's in Broly. You probably know more about Vic than I do if you're watching this video, okay? Vic is Broly. He's in the Broly movie. It's a huge release. That day and the day after, some tweets start coming out accusing Vic of various types of sexual misconduct or inappropriate behavior at conventions, many of them involving underage fans. Now, some of these have been discredited. Some of them cannot be discredited or credited. Many, if not all of them, are from anonymous people, at least at the beginning, are from...
I think being skeptical is okay when a lot of information in an area that you're not familiar with is starting to come out. So let's take, for example, let's say I don't know much about, I don't know, pick a random fandom. I know wrestling. Let's say I don't know very much about wrestling, right? And so suddenly a bunch of tweets come out that get a lot of traction about a wrestler, right? Well, I was like, well, I don't know anything about this wrestler or their fan base, so I'm gonna take these tweets with a grain of salt, right? Fine. That makes sense. I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable to be skeptical of just random accusations on the internet. One of the problems with Vic, though, is as soon as you start looking around, you find out very, very quickly that Vic had a reputation for being inappropriate with people for a long time before this, some of which he admitted to. There are old DeviantArt posts that are that have shared a letter from Vic Mignogna that he had put out to his fan base apologizing for being too touchy-feely, with his excuse for being too touchy-feely being like, well, my family's just like that. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't make it better. Having this weird parasocial relationship between your fan base and your treating your fans as if they're family, and like not having that separation treated appropriately is a bit of a problem. So even in Vic's apologies and admittance, it's mostly excuses and doesn't actually deal with the issue. Well, I've talked about this before. You can go back and find that. But one of the things that I believe I pointed out was the issue is not that you are okay with people hugging you. The issue is that not everybody is okay with you hugging them, and treating it like, well, I'm just never gonna hug anybody again, and you can just blame people who are critical of me, who don't want to be touched, that I am touching. Like that, even if you take out all of the extra baggage and all of the extra ick factor and all of the transphobia that is tied into Vic Mignogna, you run into this very, very hard-lined issue of not taking the criticism or understanding what the criticism about, not understanding consent, and then because of that, just like sending other people to, or his fan base, to attack people who don't want to be touched. Like, if people don't want to be touched, don't fucking touch them. It's really not that fucking hard, dude. It's not that difficult. It's not that deep. But I understand being skeptical. I'd be cautious about how I word things on a stream, but, you know, whatever.
Them are from anonymous people, at least at the beginning, are from people who are hard to identify, or people who are, you know, like I said, anonymous on Twitter. They don't have the real name. I don't mean that they're anonymous. I mean that they're hard to identify from a lay bystander perspective, and therefore the stories are very hard to verify. So you can't give them credit, and you can't necessarily discredit them. They just kind of linger out there.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment of a lot of things that were said. This happens when, like a hate group starts to form. You'll see like when Onision, right? Or even Jimmy Snow, when people came out talking about how Jimmy Snow was being inappropriate with people, a subreddit all started exploding about it, and then people started making false allegations for attention. That's a thing that happens. So I think it is reasonable to take a lot of the allegations about Vic Mignogna, particularly on Twitter, with a grain of salt. However, you don't necessarily have to corroborate that story with that Twitter account. What you can do is you can corroborate that story to see if this is a story that was already in existence. Right, because that's one of the, again, we're back to this, one of the problems with Vic Mignogna is a lot of these stories have been a lot, like, floating around for a long period of time. So it's likely that you could look at one of these anonymous Twitter accounts that are hard to identify, but note that they are talking about a situation that has already been talked about 2, 3, 4 years before the Broly movie came out. Right, the only reason the Broly movie even matters is because it brought a lot of eyes onto Vic Mignogna in particular, and in getting those eyes, people were starting to scrutinize, right? That's how it works. The more attention you get, the more scrutinized you're going to be. And so, like, the thing is when Vic Mignogna was popular, the anime scene was pretty niche still, right? And so having something so explosive happen got a whole lot of attention from a lot of people who just didn't know what was going on or didn't know that this was a thing. And it's not like anime conventions weren't, quite some time ago, notorious for like cosplayers, for example, like don't touch, right? Like, just because I'm dressed up as this character does not mean you get to touch me. So that was like a huge thing with consent. People struggle with consent, and I really don't understand why. It's not hard.
The day after the Broly movie releases, Kaylin Saucedo, aka Mars Girl, drops this pair of tweets, which really seems to have kicked off the firestorm, okay? And the reason I say that is because the hashtag KickVic is created in the second tweet here, and that hashtag seems to have attached itself to the movement through
really good marketing. That's a good hashtag. So for anybody who doesn't know, this is Mars Girl. For anybody who doesn't know who Mars Girl is, Mars Girl was once upon a time on That Guy with the Glasses. She does reviews, or did reviews. Right now I think she's talking about, oh god, what's it called? City, outside of my brain. Go check her out. She's lovely. So this tweet is the quality. Why is the quality so bad? Why is this in 480p? This video, like, I understand this video is 5 years old, but Jesus Christ. So this says, this is from January 17th. So this was a month prior to this video, from what I can tell. Hey, good to see you. This says, this is Marshall saying, hard to say this, especially on a night that a DBZ film dropped, and knowing that I have friends/acquaintance at Funny, meaning Funimation, but at Funimation, I think it may be time to reconsider hiring Vic Mignogna as a voice actor in the future due to years and great volumes of sexual misconduct. Does this need like a hashtag or something? Something like, I don't know, hashtag KickVic? Or does that evoke too much of an image of physically kicking rather than giving him the boot? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't create hashtags. January 17th, 2019. It's a really good hashtag. Hey, random guy, good to see you. Welcome. We're taking a look way back at where this fucking harassment campaign started. So, how bad is that tweet, do you think? Vic Mignogna being well known for sexual misconduct, even admitting to some of it, later on in depositions admitting to sexual misconduct. Do you guys think that this tweet is worth the next 5 years of litigation and harassment? Boot Vic doesn't have the same ring to it. Yeah, Kick Vic is a really good hashtag. I'm sorry. It's just a good one. But as you can see, what do you garner from Mars Girl's intent here? Does her intent seem to be like, hey, we should get eyes on Vic Mignogna because of his misconduct in the past? I don't create hashtags. 2 years later, turns out has created the hashtag on the subject. I know, right? Does this look like... Yeah, you gotta have the alliteration of the Kick Vic. The triple K sound, the k, as it were. So, this does not seem like that big of a deal, does it? Seems pretty mundane for a tweet, don't you think? But let's see, what do you think Nick Rekieta is going to say about it?
That hashtag seems to have attached itself to the movement through no
The
small
movement.
effort of Kaylin Saucedo herself.
Small effort. No small effort of getting eyes on something with a basic hashtag. It's only been a month as of this video. What effort could she have possibly done in a month? Let's find out.
Itself to the movement through no small effort of Kaylin Saucedo herself to go ahead and pop into pretty much any thread that she can find, mentioning the Vic Mignogna accusations or any new accusations and dropping that hashtag in there. Then it was adopted by Twitter. And of course,
are you going to show that, Nick? Are you going to show her doing that? That should be pretty easy. You should just be able to go to her Twitter and like just search hashtag #KickVic and just see it over and over and over and over again, and then click on them and show which threads they're attached to, right? Like, that shouldn't be a hard thing to actually demonstrate. The butterfly effect. Yeah, well, there's the butterfly effect, and then there's the Streisand effect, which is what Pumpkin over here is pulling off.
Permeated out the way hashtags tend to do. All right? So Kaylin Saucedo kicks this off. That is on January 17th, the day after the Broly movie happens. Now, this starts to build and build and build over the next couple weeks. And then the real bombshells start dropping when Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial, co-workers of Vic for at least a decade or more, drop their accusations. Jamie has a story attached. I'm not going to read through the tweets or the story. You can find these on their timeline and go check them out if you want to. That's up to you.
If you want context, go find it yourself. He could have at least made them big enough on the screen that we could have read them ourselves by just pausing, I guess. Unfortunately, we can't. I can read the first paragraph, but not the rest of them. But I will read out the tweets. The tweets say, from Jamie, it says, "I stand with the victims. My experience is minor in comparison to many others. However, having realized it wasn't an isolated incident, I felt compelled to share." And then Monica says, dropping in to say this, "Stop harassing my friends and colleagues. You want the truth? It happened to me. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but here we are. I don't owe you anything, but if it'll stop it from happening to someone else, then so be it." So as you can see, before Monica or Jamie had done anything, like this is as of sorry, it's gonna be hard for you guys to see, but this says February 8th and February 6th, respectively, for each of those tweets. So we're talking about January, nearly a month goes by before Jamie or Monica say anything, and people are being harassed. Do you see what I'm saying? Mars Girl said, hey, maybe Funimation should think about this and look into it. A month goes by of people getting harassed, and Jamie and Monica feel the need to then step forward. Right? Kick Nick.
Certainly should not harass or bother any of these people, but you can go read about the things. If you harass them, they're going to ban you. You won't be able to read anything, but go read about them on their timelines. Read the stories for yourself, and you can kind of start to be the judge on that. However, these two accusations, Jamie Marchi's accusation and Monica Rial's non-accusation, I should say. She has a vague, nebulous statement that says, "It happened to me," but she never goes on to detail what it was. So we don't actually know, but the implication is that it mirrors some of these other accusations and the
yeah, like to be clear, it's that she was harassed or like what would be considered sexual misconduct from Vic Mignogna in her direction.
Damage is done. So after these tweets drop very quickly, Funimation and Rooster Teeth, I don't have the Rooster Teeth screen cap because they didn't say much at all. Rooster Teeth just said they're cutting all ties with Vic Mignogna. He won't.
That's a weird reason not to have the screen cap, but sure, whatever. Funimation says, everyone, we want to give you an update on the Vic Mignogna situation. Following an investigation, Funimation recast Vic Mignogna in Morose Mononoken Season 2. Funimation will not be engaging Vic Mignogna in future productions. This was as of February 11th. So we're talking about an investigation that may or may not have taken place, or may not have been instigated by Mars Girl's tweet, or by the popularity of the Broly movie, or some combination of other workers coming forward and speaking to Funimation directly as opposed to speaking on Twitter. Again, we have to remember in these kinds of situations, not everything is happening online. Not everything is going to happen on Twitter. It's insane to imply or think otherwise. So in any kind of situation like this, you have to understand that this investigation may have been taking place even before Mars Girl said anything. We don't have that information. All we know is Funimation is telling us that they did an investigation. We don't know any information about what that investigation entails, nor what instigated that investigation. For all we know, they've had paperwork about Vic Mignogna for years and just hadn't gotten rid of them. Sometimes companies don't move unless there's some kind of public backlash. The Broly movie got enough tension to garner enough public backlash for Funimation to do something, right? Maybe. The second two tweets say, part of our core mission is to celebrate the diversity of the anime community and share our love for this genre and its positive impact on all. We do not any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anyone. Edit, we do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anyone. And here's the thing. Vic Mignogna has ostensibly made himself inhireable by refusing to acknowledge by refusing to understand consent, first off, and by hanging out on shows like Alex Stein. No offense to Alex Stein, but the stuff that Vic Mignogna has said on Alex Stein's show has been transphobic, has been, really racy, has been, kind of fucking gross. So even without all this, there was already other problems. There's stuff about Vic potentially being homophobic, back in the 2000s, because he would, notably refuse to sign any fan art that wasn't straight. Or he would notably he would preach at conventions. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a video of him doing some, anti-vax shit. He made himself unhireable. Going around to conventions and telling people not to wear masks during a pandemic is gonna, conventions aren't gonna want you there. You're a liability risk. So, the problem is even on top of all this stuff, Vic would still be a problem regardless, but...
Won't be voicing on RWBY anymore. That was the production house that did RWBY. Funimation made a longer statement, and I do want to talk about it for a very specific reason. They said that they've recast Vic in Morose Mononoke in Season 2, which means they got someone else to play the part that Vic was playing, and they will no longer be engaging him in future productions. But here's the interesting thing. They followed up stating the important part is, we do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anyone. So, following a termination, this looks like a reason for the termination. Now, I don't say that officially, but that's what your average reasonable bystander is going to infer from the placement of it in this tweet, in this set of tweets. It's a very strange thing for a company to do to provide.
I agree that that's what people are going to understand, right? I agree that that Funimation tagging that on the bottom of their tweet about Vic Mignogna is going to imply that Funimation has their investigation either involved some kind of a harassment or threatening behavior, or that that Vic Mignogna has engaged in some kind of that behavior. Like that, I agree with Nick Reiketa's assessment that is going to cause people to believe that. Is that necessarily 100% the truth? No, not necessarily. It could really be anything. But since we know that before this people were being harassed on behalf of Vic Mignogna, right? Okay, so this is whether or not Vic instigated it, all right? And we're taking Vic off the table. Let's pretend Vic did nothing and said nothing, right? If people are being harassed because they like Vic Mignogna and other people who work there, as per Monica's tweet, that people are being harassed, either Funimation employees or convention employees, or if people in the industry are being harassed and the instigating factor is all related to Vic Mignogna, even if Vic Mignogna did nothing, Vic Mignogna's fans at that point are doing him harm by harassing people on his behalf without his consent. So even if Vic did nothing, his fan base is so vitriolic that they are harassing people because people have opinions about his behavior, right? And so now you have a situation where even if Vic is not at fault, he's the one who's going to have to pay the consequences for his fan base. Now, I wouldn't be willing to say Vic Mignogna's not at fault, because good, nice, decent people don't have fan bases that behave like this. Period. Because as a creator, as somebody who makes content, you are to a degree responsible for the audience that you curate and that you cultivate. And if you're not curating your audience and you're only cultivating anybody who's going to listen to you and believe in you no matter what, then you have no control, or you have a type of control that is going to lead to negative behavior. Because you're not cultivating, you're not culling anybody in your group that's behaving in ways that are not appropriate. And when you let some of them behave that way, everybody's going to behave that way because you've deemed that behavior is acceptable. So there's reasons why we don't let people use loose slurs in the side chat here, right? You won't see me using the R word or the bad word for gay, right? And it's not because it's not because of my personal belief about those words. It's because when you allow and enable behavior, like inappropriate behavior, it means that you're saying that this is acceptable and it is okay. Or if you're, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're not content. If you choose to not take any action, there's a word that I'm looking for. Complacent. That's the word. If you're complacent, then you're saying that that's not a deal breaker for you, that this behavior is fine, or it's okay in your presence, right? And so it's like, no. There's certain decorums that that enable one thing or another. So if you, like, for example, if Vic goes on to Alex Stein, then Vic Mignogna is condoning and complacent in Alex Stein's behavior and Alex Stein's fan base, and in fact telling his own fan base that these things are all okay, right? So when he says that all these things are okay, including the transphobia, racism, like the plethora of issues on Alex Stein's show, then it means that Vic Mignogna is at least okay with racism to the point that he's willing to dip his toes in engaging with it, right? Which is problematic for a lot of reasons. And it's not, again, we're not talking about some small little piddly creator here. Vic Mignogna was quite prolific. So if it's okay for Vic Mignogna to do it, then it's okay for Vic Mignogna's fan base to do it, right? And if Vic Mignogna is not actively putting in the work to dissuade his fan base. And I got this video about plausible deniability when it comes to his actual behavior, about he doesn't have to literally say, go and attack these people on my behalf. What he needs to say is, we're at war, I'm fighting against these people have done irreparable damage to me, they're basically evil and they're fighting against me as a good Christian person. Don't harass them, though. But we are going to fight back. Don't harass them, though. That doesn't work. You've riled them up, pointed them in a direction, set them on the course, and then trying to say, yeah, but no, don't stop, wait, no, come back. No, damage is already done, as Nick Rekieta has been saying. So, I agree with Nick's assessment about people jumping to conclusions about, or putting two and two together about Funimation's tweet, though. So back to what he was saying. Sorry, I went on a whole tangent.
This tweet, in this set of tweets, it's a very strange thing for a company to do, to provide publicly a reason for termination. So they have done that. Now, what's next? What's next, right? Well, what's next is following Funimation and Rooster.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean termination. That's a word that they didn't use. They said that they will not be engaging Mignogna in future productions. So that's not necessarily a termination or a breach of any contracts, right? Because that's what this grows into eventually. This is just Vic Mignogna saying, hey, we recast him and we're not hiring him again. Which is their right to do so as a company, even if they had no auxiliary reasons, right? As long as it's not a breach of contract. And most contracts have clauses in them for cancellation under specific terms, right? So again, we're back to this argument about tortious interference, which shows up later, but I did a whole video on that, and I recommend just checking that one out. So, yeah, there's nothing about termination in here. You could say that Funimation will not be engaging Vic Mignogna in future productions as a termination of their working relationship, but it's not that you're pushing it. You're pushing it.
They have done that. Now, what's next? What's next, right? Well, what's next is following Funimation and Rooster Teeth dropping Vic Mignogna. You've got conventions all over the country canceling his convention appearances. My count is somewhere between 15 and 20 conventions. It may be more, it may be less, but I don't think it's less than 15.
Are you going to show that? Are you going to show that they were canceled or that he just wasn't invited back? And are you going to show why they canceled and what instigated that? Because you're going to need those things.
So you've got 15 to 20 conventions canceling the appearances for him. That's going to, of course, cost him quite a bit of money. That's going to prevent him from interacting with fans in any sort of way at those conventions like he would normally do. Right? So what happens now? What happens now? Well, that's, of course, entirely up to Vic. For anything to happen in the realm that I'm talking about, he would have to hire a lawyer, right? So he'd consult with a lawyer. They would discuss a legal strategy. What I'm going to propose is a potential legal strategy that is heavy on litigation. This means you're going to go in and you're going to take people to court and you're going to make them prove the things that they said, or you're going to make them pay you money. That's how it's going to go.
That is definitively not how it went. Oh, this aged like a fine cheese. Hey, welcome. So, not only is that not at all what happened, all the appeals were denied, evidence was not submitted, or it was submitted and then retracted, or the wrong things were retracted. Vic owes so much fucking money to these people. So much fucking money.
This is a semi-hostile approach to it, but you've got to look at it at this perspective. You've got people who have taken a career that is decades long, and in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks, They have destroyed an entire life's worth of work. They've crumbled a reputation. They've basically forced someone out of a significant portion of the industry, if not all of the industry. We don't even know if all of the dominoes have fallen at this point. But
these are some bold claims for a month has gone by. 1 month. That's it. 1 month since, and that's not even 1 month since Funimation made their statement. That's not even 1 month since Jamie and Monica made tweets. This is 1 month since Mars Girl said, hey, maybe you guys should look at this. You can't ruin someone's reputation when their reputation is shit to begin with. Right? Don't these two guys hate each other now? No. Vic Mignogna is pretending he barely knows him. I don't know what fucking Reiketa's opinion is. I haven't looked at the last video yet. This is the first video.
Right now, we know that he has been canceled from these major productions. He will not work with them again, and these are big studios. We know that he's been canceled from conventions at least this year, and maybe years into the future. We don't know the extent of it yet. All right. So this tactic, this approach is a hostile approach to go basically for what you've lost, and that's income. That's income. This is answers and income. So this looks like this. First of all, everyone I just named, Saucedo, Marchi, Rial, Rooster Teeth, and Funimation, all get sued. They all get sued immediately, as fast as possible. Now, what are the theories for the lawsuit? There are many possibilities. I'm not an expert in all of the jurisdictions that these people may be in. From what I know, most of the players are in Texas right now. Saucedo, I believe, is in California because that's what her Twitter says. I haven't done any research into this person or how to find her. I don't know her address or anything like that. So nothing. Don't accuse me of doxing her.
That's a real strong way of implying that you want your fan base to go and find out for you. Also, Mars Girl never got sued. She was never listed. Monica and Jamie were listed. One of their husbands was listed, Ron, and Funimation was listed. Rooster Teeth was never listed. So, you know. Oh, Feline. No paper. This is before any litigation had even happened. He's not privy to anything because he's not. There is no litigation at this point of this video.
I haven't done any research into this person or how to find her. I don't know her address or anything like that. So nothing. Don't accuse me of doxing her. That's what's on her Twitter thing. That could be a lie. We found out from the Meyer versus Wade case, right, that Mark Wade says he relied on Meyer's Twitter location, which had him in a different state than Texas. So who knows? Who knows where she is? She says she's in California, I believe, and that's that. So I don't know all of the different causes of action or the elements of those causes of action in each particular.
In fact, he knows none of them. He is not an expert in any of this. He doesn't live or is not barred? Is that what's in any of these states? So it's weird of him to say, "Oh, I don't know all of them." It's like, no, you don't know any of them. Like, why are you wording it like that? I don't know. I don't get it.
State, but basically, you've got defamation of character because you've got potentially false statements being made with the intent to cause damage to someone. The damage is caused, and economic loss has definitely occurred. Contracts have been canceled. Nothing else to be said.
There is no indication in any of those tweets that a contract had been canceled. Those tweets said he had been recast. That doesn't mean that there was a contract cancellation. He showed nothing in regards to whatever conventions may or may not had canceled him or just not re-signed him on. That he showed none of that. So that might be true. There's nothing here, though. Those two sentences contradict each other. Yeah. Yeah, you want me to play it again? You want me to play it again?
Of character, because you've got potentially false statements being made with the intent to cause damage to someone. The damage is caused, and economic loss has definitely occurred. Contract.
There's defamation of character and potentially false statements. One or the other. Even if a contract had been canceled, the people who own the contract must be infants with no free will, so I guess those people who tweeted must be at fault. Yeah, and here's the thing. You'll notice that he's not going after the canceled contracts to get money from that cancellation. He's saying go after these people who tweeted about a thing that happened or known general information that for what? He hasn't actually said to sue them for what yet. He hasn't defined that.
Contracts have been canceled. Nothing else to be said. And big contracts, right? Next, you've got you've got negligence per se as one of the possible things, because some of the things that they shared, retweeted, or said could be negligent. So it's not necessarily malicious statements. It's not necessarily defamatory statements, but maybe they're just sharing stuff. This would apply possibly to Kaylin Salcedo the most. She is sharing tons and tons of stories that are not only not really verified, many of them aren't verifiable. And
your statements in this video are not necessarily because what, she retweeted stuff? Like, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly in court. Like, how important do you think Mars Girl is? This is so weird. It's interesting how focused he is on Mars Girl, though. The smallest person of this scenario, right? Mars Girl is a content creator, like on YouTube and on Twitch, right? The other people are two very prolific voice actors, and Funimation the company. But Reiketa's not focused on that for whatever reason. He's heftily focusing on Mars Girl. And I'm wondering if that's because he believes she is the easier target. It's not misheard retweeting that op-ed of hers. Right, exactly. Yes, exactly, Feline. It would be important under some circumstances, but not this one. No, this isn't defamation per se. It is he's going for straight defamation because he is saying that there is a definitive showable loss of income and contracts.
These stories are causing damage. They're destroying a reputation, and that could be negligence, for example. You've got potentially tortious interference.
Again, you can't destroy a reputation when that reputation is already shit. Vic Mignogna's reputation has been terrible since 2008. This is well-known information, and this is the problem. Like I said earlier when I gave that example of if a wrestler had a thing, if I started talking about that and then started talking about how, oh my god, this is reputational damage and this is legal issues and this is all one person's fault, this is all Egghead's fault, Egghead was the one who tweeted this, he's destroying this person's reputation, and Egghead turns around and says, here's 17 examples of this guy being this way for literal years, then it's not reputational damage. Everybody knew this. The people who didn't know this were people outside of the industry. So new people are coming in and finding out about this and finding out about his reputation. That's not direct reputational damage because new people are stumbling across a thing that was already well known because this movie did really well, which is what is basically happening.
It's with contract or prospective business relations. Those are similar causes of action, but that's where a contract exists and you talk to someone and get that contract canceled and you had no business doing so. That's called.
So here's the thing. If somebody is a danger to other people, are you responsible for letting people know that that person is a danger? This is one of those things where it comes to, like, men in position of power being able to get away with it for a long time. Like, we saw that in Jamie's tweet. She's like, I didn't realize that it wasn't a one-time thing. These men who do this, and people who do this, it's not only men, these people who do this get away with it for a long time because everybody thinks, oh, it's just a one-off, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. It was just me, you know what, whatever, it's fine, I'll get over it. Right? And so because people do that, this person gets away with it over and over and over and over. This is what the Me Too movement was basically about, right? It was like one person experienced this, and then next person, then the next person, the next person, and the next person, right? And so one person says, this is why it was weird when Amber Heard tried to Me Too Johnny Depp, because there was no other people that had this experience with him, right? Which is what she was relying on. And that's just not how it works, right? So it's, you can't Me Too someone when there's nobody else having the experience, right? So with Vic Mignogna, one person tells a story and the next person goes, oh, that happened to you, that happened to me. Or, oh, that happened to this friend of mine. Or, oh, that happened to this person over here. Or this person, and then that snowballs, right? Because then people start comparing notes. And he's trying to say that people deserve to be sued for comparing notes. And, like, that's not gonna fly. But how do you know that Jamie or Monica or Mars Girl, Rekieta, how do you know that any of these people contacted any of these conventions? Or any of these canceled contracts that you're just saying existed? Right? So, like, if in this video, at the very least, and this is the first one in the playlist, this is the first one where they do the GoFundMe, this is his first big fucking blowout about this shit, he has not actually demonstrated any contract existed. He hasn't showed a contract existed with any of these, with any of the conventions. There is no stated contract with Funimation. There is no, like, nothing. He's shown nothing.
Called privilege. You have privilege, then it's a different story. But if you don't have any business talking about that contract because you're not involved in it or you don't benefit from it, then you don't have the privilege, and then that's tortious interference, okay?
Sure. But let's say, for example, Monica, to pick a name, let's say Monica feels unsafe around Vic, and they're both going to the same convention, and Monica says, you know what, if he's going, I'm gonna not go. That's not tortious interference. That's not her discussing the contract with Vic Mignogna. That's not her benefiting from one thing or another. That is then up to the curator to make a decision about how they want to negotiate that. Do they want to keep Monica or do they want to keep Vic? A lot of this stems from Vic's ego getting bruised because more conventions would rather not risk him as a liability and would rather have these other people show up. Which is not tortious interference. People are allowed to be concerned for their own safety and say, listen, you know what, if he's going to be there, I'm not interested. And then not go. If the convention then makes some kind of decision about being like, you know what, we would rather have you there than him, we're just not going to bring him back, or we're choosing to cancel our contract with him, then that's up to Vic to have negotiated a contract that's beneficial to him under those circumstances. And if he didn't do that, that's on him. That's not on Monica or Jamie or anybody else who decided they didn't want to be there with Vic Mignogna. So how are you going to prove that Mars Girl interfered with anybody or any contract at all? Assuming it exists. Because again, I believe that contracts existed, to be clear. That, like, there's evidence that there was definitely contracts that were being dealt with. But I'm saying this way because that's not presented in the video.
If you do have privilege, you have to show malice. Okay, and malice is doing something with either knowledge of the falsity or some sort of malicious or specific intent to cause damage, or in a reckless disregard for the truth.
Did he just define actual malice with the intention of malice? Because that's not quite correct. But whatever. He's the lawyer here, not me.
Right? So you either have to know it's fake, or you have to be so unwilling to do a minor step of verifying that they would say you definitely, like, you know it's fake, or you should have known it was fake.
But here's the problem, all right? So now he's saying that it would be considered like malice on Mars Girl's part for retweeting these things. That's what he said earlier, right? That she was retweeting these things with disregard. But at the very beginning, he said that it's these things, some of them are not verifiable at all. So there's no way for Mars Girl to take the extra step he's saying that she would need to take to demonstrate malice in the example that he's presenting. Right? Did you guys catch that? At the beginning, he said that all these accusations about Vic, a lot of them are unverifiable from unverifiable sources. And now he's saying that it's malice if Mars Girl didn't do this extra step to decide whether or not it was true. Already saying that there's no other work she could have possibly done. Like, do you not realize he just shot his own fucking argument in the foot with his preamble? What? How did anybody buy into this? There's years of litigation, years of harassment. There's got to be at least 100 videos about this. Based off of this? This is it? Are you kidding? This is so bad.
And then, or you have to show some sort of malicious intent or motive to go after him. So that's how you show malice. That applies in the tortious interference, but it could also apply in a defamation case because Vic may be a public figure. What does malice look like? Let me show you. Here's Jamie Marchi saying, yes, I want his head, I want his balls, I want him to feel an ounce of the pain he's caused to others and then effing choke on it. I want you to take his penis out of your ears so you can...
Why did you switch? Why did you say... This is Nick Rekieta is censoring the word fucking and dick. Just to be clear, yes, feline is correct. You do not need intention to show actual malice. Nick Rekieta is just incorrect about that. Why is he censoring the word fucking and the word dick? He replaced the word dick with penis. This is fucking Nick Rekieta. Since when did he shy away? Like, he drinks whiskey and talks about law, and he's like, I can't say the word fuck. Huh? What? Alright, show us what malice is. Sorry, start again. I get distracted.
May be a public figure. What does malice look like? Let me show you. Here's Jamie Marchi saying, yes, I want his head, I want his balls, I want him to feel an ounce of the pain he's caused to others and then effing choke on it. I want you to take his penis out of your ears so you can actually hear reality. But you know, that's just me. That looks like textbook malice. She wants him to hurt. She's made these statements to cause him pain. She's made these statements to cause him damage. It's right there.
That's uninterpretation. that's like her opinion, though. And like, having a desire for something does not necessarily, like, we're not doing thought crime here. That's not you have to tie one to the other. And again, you also noticed there's no context provided with this. She's saying yes to what? What is she saying yes to? In fact, there's actually no evidence. If I wanted to be pedantic, there's no evidence that this is about Vic Mignogna in this video. This tweet could be about somebody else, just based on the presentation of this. Just to be pedantic about the video. I know that Jamie is talking about Vic here, but we have no context in what he's presenting. So if you were just coming into this situation, didn't know what the hell was going on, wanted to find out what was going on, we just have to take Nick Reiketa's word for it because he just didn't bother to get the context. Like, what? But Feline's got it right. He is baiting here by using malice intent as a gateway to show this tweet. And this does not suffice for the reckless disregard. Right? This is not reckless disregard for what is the truth. Right? This isn't what actual malice looked like. He's trying to present this as if this applies in a legal sense. It does not. Is it mean? Sure, maybe. Is Jamie justified in having these feelings? Probably. I think she's justified, but you might not think that. But whether or not you believe she's justified to have an opinion, or that her opinion is justified, it doesn't mean she's not allowed to have it. Which brings us down to the issue that Rekieta is talking about this in the legal sense. Completely negating free speech. Completely negating that Jamie is allowed to have a fucking opinion, dude, and doesn't deserve to be fucking harassed from here to Timbuktu and dragged to fucking legal court because you got a stick up your ass about it. God.
That's malice.
No, it's not.
Is out here just going ahead and leaking information from these companies saying that there are multiple investigations done with testimony proof.
All right, I'm going to actually read these. These are from February 11th. The one from Jamie was from February 6th. I believe the one from February 11th is the same date as when Funimation made their tweet, so I think that's why he's tying these together besides the context. So the first, I don't know which one is first. Again, we've got a replying to two people and no context. So the first one that he showed on screen at least says, there is also in response to something, because I can see the little blue line that was indicative of an ongoing conversation. There were multiple investigations with testimony, proof, evidence. Companies don't cut ties without those things. However, that information is classified. I mean, classified is a bit of an extreme term, but sure. I am one of dozens of men and women who participated. Stop harassing me. So, assuming that this tweet is about the investigation done by Funimation, it likely means that that investigation was going on for an amount of time, right? So it's not like Funimation just did this. It's not a snap decision. There were investigations conducted by multiple companies with evidence, testimony, and proof. There were dozens of men and women participated. The companies don't have to share that information with you because you're an attorney or law enforcement. Correct. Those are just facts. And again, that's not leaking information. That's, well, at best that's saying that the investigation was not just Funimation investigating Funimation, right? Keeping in mind that this was in and around the Sony takeover of Funimation as well. So it's likely that they pulled in a third party to be like, hey, can you look into this guy for us? Can you do these interviews with these people to blah, 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 blah. But we don't have that information. Even if we assume Monica is telling the truth, that's standard procedure for a large company. That's not unusual. That's not weird and correct. They are not obligated to share that information. And as far as I know, they never did. And they still never hired Vic back because he's been doing nothing but damaging his own reputation over and over and showing exactly why they were right to cut ties with him. But again, where's the malice? These are just facts of general conduct when something like this happens.
Proof, evidence, okay? Saying that there's proof of sexual misconduct is a bold claim.
That's not what it says. It says that there was an investigation conducted by multiple companies with evidence, testimony, and proof. There were dozens of men and women who participated. We don't know for a fact that Vic was released due to sexual misconduct. That's not what Funimation's tweet said, remember? Let's see, we're at 11:39. I'm going to go back to show you guys Funimation's tweet. Funimation's tweet referenced harassment or threatening behavior. Not sexual misconduct. Just to be clear. So if what Rekieta is saying here and is presenting about what Monica said, it's not necessarily about sexual misconduct. He's putting that in on his own. Because again, this happened on February 11th, which was the same time as that tweet. If she is referencing that investigation, this doesn't actually say sexual misconduct. This would technically say harassment, or what was it? Harassment and threatening behavior. So the person now enforcing or reinforcing this idea of being a sexual predator, of Vic being a sexual predator, is being reinforced by Nick Rekieta. Reiketa. Sorry, whatever. Right? And again, this is presented without context. So maybe it is talking about sexual misconduct, but that's not what he's showing. You're sending me to the tweet. Let's take a look. So this says, here's the tweet. It was, one of them was deleted by the author. I don't condone violence in any way, shape, or form. Any threats on either side will be compiled and sent to proper authorities. Don't confuse my silence for fear. I am taking the advice of my lawyer and the authorities and staying off of Twitter. Much love. There were multiple investigations with testimony, proof, evidence. Companies don't cut ties without those things. However, that information is classified. I am one of the dozens of men and women who participated. Stop harassing me. And then immediately just getting harassed. This was from February 9th, 2019. And this one was February 11th. So this was an add-on to a response to whatever this tweet was. Yeah. Then there is another one that was in response to Funimation, right? From February 11th. Wanted to give you an update on Vic Mignogna, da-da-da-da-da. If Vic was fired, then Monica should he as well be. Since both are a cause of problems, harassing fans, both sides should be recast. This way it's fair until investigation is done. Seriously. Following an investigation. So this person is interpreting this as an investigation has not taken place. Right? This person is interpreting this as following an investigation, as in an investigation being done. Funimation recast Vic Mignogna. Then Monica clarified for this person, there are multiple investigations with testimony, proof, and evidence. Companies don't cut ties without those things. However, that information is classified. So she is clarifying for this person that an investigation has already taken place. And yes, that is not what fairness is. Vic acting so aloof about someone he clearly knew was like a suspicious amount of distancing. Yeah. The companies don't work like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It doesn't. Vic Mignogna being a problem, that's just whataboutism. It's just like, well, what about Monica's behavior? Well, what about Sean Chamel's behavior? Well, what about blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's just a distraction. You're getting distracted. You're getting distracted from the issue at hand. Right? And yeah, both sides, both sides should be recast. This way it's fair until investigation is done. Yeah, that's not how, tell me you don't know how anything works without telling me you don't know how anything works. My goodness. Goodness gracious me. Anyway. Yeah, whatever.
Just going ahead and leaking information from these companies saying that there are multiple investigations done with
leaking information, i.e. clarifying something for somebody. So again, Nick Rekieta is using this language to imply that Monica is doing something wrong when all she is doing is giving people clarifying information.
Testimony, proof, evidence, okay? Saying that there's proof of sexual misconduct is a bold, bold claim.
Which is not what the tweet said, as we saw. Again, I'll show it again real quick just because I want to highlight this really, really quick by comparing what was actually said. This is a general statement.
They have to have proof if she's saying there's proof. Now, if this is just some rando person on the internet, different story. Monica Rial is employed by the companies and said she participated in the investigations. So a reasonable person could consider her acting as an agent for those companies, and therefore that puts Rooster Teeth and Funimation having one of their agents going ahead and releasing information that should probably be private.
There is no private information. It's general conduct. It's general conduct. You could Google that information if you wanted to. This is such a fucking stretch. He's bending over backwards for this shit. God damn. I think it's an example of reckless disregard for the truth by using an authoritative role of being a lawyer to mislead the public. Oh, what? Nick Rekieta? Using his position as a lawyer to provide misinformation and labeling things with that is such a stretch. First off, you have to understand in what capacity Monica Rial is employed by Funimation, right? And if you don't know that, you're already on the back foot. On top of that, you would then have to talk about how she's actually giving out specific information, not just general statements. Again, we're also assuming that nobody reported Vic Mignogna to Funimation for years to HR, when that's likely not the case. It should probably be private. He doesn't know. Probably. Again, it's just manipulative language to present. There's a reason why Rekieta didn't read those two tweets out. He wants his audience to believe what he's saying, so he's only giving you snippets of what was actually in the tweet and that's why he's not giving you any context either.
A reasonable person could consider her acting as an agent for those companies, and therefore that puts Rooster Teeth and Funimation having one of their agents going ahead and releasing information that should probably be private and also might be false.
What private information is in here? General conduct of the way a company operates that is public information? That's not private information, dude. There is no private information in any of these tweets. The closest thing you've got to a private information is Jamie's feelings about something, and she's allowed to have those.
You're saying there's proof of sexual misconduct, and there's not actually proof of sexual misconduct in those investigations, then you're doing defamation per se, and you're impugning someone's business reputation and also accusing them of a moral wrong.
None of those tweets said sexual misconduct. The contract, the Funimation tweet, did not say sexual misconduct. He did not read out those tweets, none of which said sexual misconduct. Jamie's tweet didn't even accuse Vic of sexual misconduct in the one that he showed on screen when he said that. He mentioned that 3 times on something where it was not applicable at all. This is what you call spin. This is the spin room. This is how you get people to believe that something was about something else. Nowhere in that statement from Funimation said anything about sexual misconduct. It said harassing and what was the other one? I was gonna forget. I'm gonna forget forever. Forever. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna show it again. Let's see where we're at. Harassment or threatening behavior. Nothing about sexual misconduct. Nothing. A big stinking hunk of nothing. Yippee. All right.
And that is irredeemably damaging, and also accusing them of a moral wrong, a severe moral wrong, and that is irredeemably damaging to someone's reputation. That's what defamation's all about. That's what all this boils down to. Is a person whose reputation.
He said as not a... This is what defamation is about. He said as a non-expert in defamation and a non-expert in this scenario, in these areas. Which he got wrong. Bro got actual malice incorrect. Just so he could try to paint that these people were accusing Vic Mignogna of something they didn't actually say in the tweets that he presented.
Built his career. This is a person who's destroying their reputation.
Awkward that Vic Mignogna proceeded to, in a deposition, admit to sexual misconduct, by the way. That's a thing that he did. He admitted to sexual misconduct by approaching twins and inviting them back to his room for sex, which is illegal because they're twins.
Destroys their ability to get work and destroys their career. It better be true if you're taking someone's money. It better be true. So.
Oh, really? And how did that, all this true stuff about this GoFundMe that you were stating in here is not true? We've already got at least, what, 5 untrue statements minimum, not even including the repeated wrong statements that were untrue, that you should know as a lawyer. Like, these are things that you should definitively know, so that that you're misrepresenting. I got minimum 5 off the top of my head. For money? Feline said, just because you work for a company doesn't entail that everything is in name of that company in role of agency, and agency incorrect. Yes.
So the first round of lawsuits is probably everybody I just mentioned. Like I said, Saucedo, Marchi, Real, Funimation, Rooster Teeth, all gone. You potentially go after Saucedo's employer because she's adjacent to that world. She also said she has friends at Funimation. So you might need to go after the friends at Funimation. You might have to.
Yo, Nick Reiketa's whole strategy is sue the world. What are you going to sue her for? Your tweet that you had of her up here said nothing that is worth suing over. What the fuck? Again, Mars Girl was never taken to court by Vic Mignogna at all. Yeah, this is insane. You want to try to sue that's insane. This is Nick Reiketa does not believe in the First Amendment, apparently. It's freedom of speech. Fake news. What the fuck?
Because she's adjacent to that world. She also said she has friends at Funimation. So you might need to go after the friends at Funimation. You might have to see who she was talking to about this. You might have to see who maybe she planted ideas in the ear of to go ahead and start talking about that. Tortious interference doesn't.
I'm sorry, you think that Vic's shitty reputation came from just Mars Girl and Mars Girl alone, and not the plethora of convention employees who complained about him? What? Mars Girl's literally made out of magic. I guess she shits rainbows too. Like, holy shit. Just miracles.
Of to go ahead and start talking about that. Tortious interference doesn't just have to be direct communication with the contract holder. If you intend for someone else to interfere with the contract on your behalf, still tortious interference. Okay.
But then you have to, like, prove your conspiracy. This is a conspiracy theory. That's all this is. Feline said, so if I get this correctly, if Chesh does something to me, I am allowed to sue her, her mom, Puck, Manya, and everyone in this chat because associated. Yeah, apparently. Yes. According to Nick Reiketa, Mars Girl could sue Nick Reiketa, Nick Reiketa's, I guess Aaron, Nick Reiketa's, like, swing, the place he goes to do his swinging at the bar, and 3 of his children. And no, it's not necessarily tortious interference. He's stumbling on the first block of actually demonstrating a contract being interfered with at all. At all.
Okay, so you gotta sue Saucedo, Real, Marchi, Funimation, Rooster Teeth. Next, you gotta start looking at all the conventions, all of the convention venues as well. Some of these venues are owned by city and state governments. They're owned by a city and state government. You can't just prevent someone from going without typically some sort of due process. That's our Fifth Amendment right? State act.
Vic is allowed to be a guest at every fucking convention ever because the Fifth Amendment? What are you talking about? Are you fucking interfering with a contract can happen without a tortious act? Yes. Yes, it can. What? He wants to sue Texas for not hosting Vic He wants Vic Mignogna to sue Texas. He wants Vic Mignogna to sue Mars Girl's cat, Jamie, Marshy, Ron ended up getting sued. Funimation, some random employees of Funimation because they're friends with Mars Girl. He wants them to go after the conventions and the convention centers. So, like, the arena or, like, does anybody hear how insane this sounds? This is crazy. This isn't reasonable.
Action. If you're banned from a state auditorium, you have to have a reason that you're banned. There has to be some level of process that's due to you that may come up to notice and an opportunity to be heard. Now, a lot of times this doesn't go on. I think city auditoriums, city coliseums, stuff like that probably commit Fifth Amendment violations all day, but they don't rise to the level of causing most people an appreciable enough amount of damages to pursue it. If your livelihood is relying on you going to these conventions, and much less if any of the conventions like...
No, again, there's a catch, there's a bait and switch here. There's a bait and switch here. Being denied access to state-owned property is different than making money, being paid to go to conventions. It is not a Fifth Amendment right of Vic Mignogna to be paid to show up to a convention. That's fucking insane. That was a complete bait and switch. He just flipped that from being, just being allowed to attend an event or go to a convention center, and treated it as if it was equal to being paid by a convention to show up there as a guest. Those are different things. Or being allowed to solicit at a convention. So if he's not paid to be there as a guest, he pays to go there for a booth to shill his shit. He doesn't have a right to do that. The convention's allowed to pick and choose. You have to apply, and then the convention's allowed to pick and choose whoever they want. And if you're on the do not want list, too bad. You could still attend the event. Nothing is necessarily stopping you from buying a ticket to go. but you're not allowed to necessarily host anything. Because we did see Vic try to do that. Vic tried to go to a convention and then host a fan meet and greet on private property at a hotel, but not in the hotel in space that he paid for, just in the parking lot. Like, that was appropriate and not super fucking weird and lacked any kind of safety measures whatsoever for anybody. So, like, that is a complete and ridiculous fucking bait and switch if I ever fucking heard one. Did people buy this? Why would anybody believe this shit?
Pensacon, for example, start making statements bigger than we've disinvited Vic Mignogna. If they start giving reasons, if they start making threats, if they start saying that support of him will amount to harassment, stuff like that, that starts to look like malice. That starts to look like state action.
That depends on what the support looks like. If the support of Vic Mignogna is harassing other people, which we've seen on this channel, is then it's not in support of. If you're harassing someone in support of somebody else, it makes that other person look bad. Not what the fuck?
Action that starts to look like state action interfering with protected rights, free assembly, free speech, freedom of travel.
The state hasn't done anything in this case. Again, this is 1 month. Do you see how he's built this into such an extreme fucking thing? How this started off as Mars Girl making a benign statement of saying, hey, Funimation, maybe you should look into this. Especially, you know, it sucks that this is around this, but maybe this will get some eyes that you should look into this thing. Funimation looks into this thing. 2 people that work for Funimation both went, yeah, this happened to me, and people are getting harassed, so I'm letting people know that this happened to me too, so stop harassing people. And then Funimation gets rid of Vic Mignogna. That you're now turning this into the state is infringing on Vic Mignogna's rights? In what capacity? Are you kidding?
Access to public utilities or public facilities. These are places of government accommodation or public accommodation. So they have to go by discrimination rules. There's all sorts of stuff that could be brought into this. So you got to start suing you got to sue the management companies, you got to sue the cons themselves, and you got to sue the venues. And here's why you got to sue all these people. Because all of them have communicated with someone else. And in those communications, you may uncover other parties who have bad actions, bad intents, and stuff like that. It's all.
Bro is legit inventing a fucking. He wants Vic Mignogna to sue everyone so he can find evidence for his invented conspiracy theory. That's what he just did. That's what just happened. And correct, Feline is 100% correct. You do not need to sue all of them. You just need to subpoena them. You only need one. This is the kind of stuff fraudsters think they'll get rich doing. I mean, to be fair, this is kind of what launched Nick Rekieta, right? This kind of helped his channel take off and was able to make him enough money to snort cocaine with $100 bill like a fucking machismo fucking caricature. And like, they did make money. Like, they made money off of this. This was a successful grift and is still successful. There are still people out here supporting Vic Mignogna based off this fraudulent bullshit.
In Discovery. And as Discovery goes on, you may be adding people, you may be adding causes of action, you may actually be subtracting people. In Discovery, you may find emails that say, I don't want any part of this. I tweeted about it once and I take that back. I found out that was wrong. Whatever it may be, you can find all sorts of ways to remove a party from an action as well as Discovery.
So you want to use Mars Girl to sue the world? To justify what? To justify your conspiracy theory? To make money.
Discovery goes on, and then you'd motion to dismiss the case. That's fine. But you got to start with the 5 you know and then it goes out from there. Of course, every con, of course, there's 15 more parties, for example, and it gets bigger and bigger. It's like throwing a rock into a pond and then it ripples out, right? And as the ripples go, it gets bigger and bigger. You're getting a bigger and bigger net of people caught inside the circle of the ripple that you may have to bring into a lawsuit, or you may have to file separate lawsuits against, or you may have to subpoena, you may have to deposition them. We'll see. Maybe.
We'll see maybe about this lawsuit that doesn't currently even exist. Why do you want it to go bigger? Yeah, again, this is just a gross misrepresentation of what the what the legal system is for. The legal system is for resolution, not your petty witch hunt against women with opinions because some dude was an asshole. And they're like, hey, that dude's an asshole. You can't, that's all this is based off of, is they don't let, this guy's like, this is a grift. This is a fucking grift.
If Vic decides to pursue it. Now here's the important part, right? Here's what I really want to get to. If Vic decides to pursue it, it would be massively helpful to whatever law firm's going to get this, okay? Would be information, tons of it. Now, a law firm that's jumping into this case is going to have to go through tons and tons of social media and stuff like that to start getting the information to build their case. That's going to take time. When your reputation is being Julius Caesared right in front of you, you don't have that time. So I'm putting out a call for help.
You know what would help get you more time about, like, the damage to your reputation? Shutting the fuck up. Do you want to know what Vic Mignogna literally never did and has not done to this day? Shut the fuck up! If you want your reputation to not be in the shit, being the asshole that people say you are is not going to help your reputation. Actually, it's going to give people a very clear idea about what your reputation is and what your reputation ought to be. Vic was an asshole through this entire fucking thing, and he's still being an asshole. So, like...
In the event that Vic decides to take this lawsuit, decides to go after these people for destroying his career based on false allegations, in the event that he does that, I want to be able to immediately give the information to Vic and his attorneys so that they don't have to sift through all of this stuff. It's going to save them time. It's going to save Vic money.
I would like to remind everybody that allegedly, according to Vic Mignogna, he did not know who Reiketa Law was when he did this. Zero idea. Didn't know who he was, allegedly. So, the hero nobody fucking asked for is gonna come and save the day by being a dipshit and a liar. And remember, I would like to take a note, he's gone on a bit of a spiel. The thing he just said that Vic Mignogna is going to need, and all their lawyers are going to need, is information. And he's asking for help. What kind of help do you think he's going to ask for?
So if you care about this community, if you care about Vic, if he's been inspiring for you, if he's talked to you and been nice, if you've had a good experience with Vic, here's what I need you to do. I need you to archive anything and everything from important, verifiable people. The anonymous stories, not super helpful. Stuff from Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, Kaylin Saucedo. Any of the companies involved, Funimation, Rooster Teeth, their parent companies.
And that is a call out that you just made, an active call out for your fan base to go and bother these people. Because they're not just gonna archive them, they're going to try to engage them to get them to say stuff so they can submit it. You dumb motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ. You just called to action your entire fan base to go and harass at least 3 people by name and at 2 companies.
Sony, Otter TV, anything these people might say. Other cast members, other voice actors, things like that. People who are identifiable and have ties to Vic in some way and are doing this, they're the ripest targets if they have ties.
You literally just called them targets. And so we see how this was just a harassment campaign because this fucking white guy didn't like the opinion of some women. And yeah, Feline's got a really good point. One big problem with the call for information is that you need to authenticate it and generally get it through legal means. Such a call is not considered legal means. So basically anything that was even emailed to Nick Rekieta likely wouldn't have been allowed to be used anyway because they would have had to verify it themselves that this shit even took place. Right? So even just sending them a screenshot, that's they still have to verify it. So they still have to go through this process. And the reason I'm explaining this and why I feel like I can speak on this, I've had to do this recently to make sure, like, if I got a screenshot of something and I was like, hey, this would be useful, this is a piece of information that I think might be viable, then I, like, for my own showing up to court, because I went to court, if I wanted to say something, I wanted to make sure that whatever I was saying was something that was verifiable. So I would go ahead and I would go and get whatever clip and I would have it recorded, but I'd have to make sure, like, this was shown, like, the pieces of information to verify that this actually took place was all there. So, like, the link of, like, showing at the top the name of the stream, the timestamp, the date, all encapsulated it within the clip, right? Again, this was for me and for my purposes. So, like, almost everything that would have been submitted to Nick Rekieta would have been fucking useless. But I'm curious to see if he tells his audience what the stipulations are to make sure that whatever is being submitted to him is actually verifiable and valuable to court, because
To any of the people named here, friends of Marchie, friends of Rial, husbands of them, if they're making public statements about this, archive it. Send an email to rekietalaw@gmail.com. Subject, Vic info. This will help me sort all of the stuff coming in very easily and separate it from other stuff that I get at this email address, okay? So,
I mean, you could have just made a specific email for this, but regardless, you just made a call out for your fan base and Vic's fan base to go and harass these people about these issues, things that they are already asking, that you've shown on screen that people are already being harassed and being asked to be left alone. You just asked an entire massive group of people to go and follow and screenshot everything these people say and engage with them to get them to say things, and not just the people named, their friends and their families and their employers. Like, this is insanity. It's also going to taint the evidence, because if you are baiting people into saying things, now it's coercion. This statement makes any information illegally obtained. Right, exactly. You've now tainted the entire thing before it's even started. And you've just started a fucking whole ass harassment campaign. Bro! Are you fucking for real? And this jump-started this dude's YouTube career. Are you fucking serious? No wonder, like, and Vic bought this. Vic fucking bought this, because if Vic did not watch this video before agreeing to work with this guy in any capacity, he's a fool and he's negligent towards his fan base, because this isn't good for his fan base. at all. Like, this isn't good for people who like Vic Mignogna. You're gonna send him to fucking Nick Rekieta? And have Nick Rekieta like, just corrupt and poison your entire fucking following? He's literally explaining how your lawsuit is frivolous and useless garbage, right? And all your evidence is now going to be useless garbage. Based off of what? Nothing.
Send it there. I will create a repository. I will back up files. It will be protected.
Garbage can.
If you send me archive links, those aren't really fakeable, and they're really, really valuable because people will decide to try and delete stuff. Of course, they're going to try and delete stuff. Go ahead and send me anything that you've got that looks like that. Please limit the amount of anonymous stuff unless it's really important or otherwise credible. Be your own judge. Send me archive links. If you can put like them into groups and subjects or give me minor descriptions, will be very helpful. And then if a law firm takes this case, if Vic goes forward, I will make sure this info gets to that firm as fast as possible, and I will keep funneling them any information that's necessary. The next thing I need you to do, go ahead and hit like, share, subscribe, okay? I will be following any case that does develop. If there's a case announced, you can come here. I will read the documents as they drop. I will explain to you the law that's going on. I will attempt to discern the strategy. If there's something weird in the strategy, I will talk to you about how this process works. I've done it in several other cases. I've been following diversity in comics. I've been following the quartering. I've followed the Maddox lawsuit. There are other cases as well. This is kind of what I do on my channel if you're not familiar. So like and subscribe and share this to the community so that they know there's one place that it will go and it will get to another lawyer from a lawyer, right? I will use my personal reputation and contacts to make sure that they understand.
Does that mean people should sue you and all your contacts then, too, for all the defamation going around and the harassment campaign that happened based off of what you did and you said in this video? Are you fucking like and subscribe? Yeah! You want to see assholes being assholes getting exposed for being assholes from 5 years ago? Let's go! And, like, the reason that I think this is, like, I understand that I'm going back in time by 5 years, but I think it's kind of important to, like, look, like, in hindsight with 2020 vision, retroactively, like, how we got to this point. We are 5 years down the line. There was four pieces of litigation that went out. There was, Vic owes so much money. All the appeals failed. The lawsuit was a fucking joke. And I think it's really valuable to look at this and be like, why did anybody believe this person in the first place? Was he believable to begin with? And I would say no. No, this is absolutely nonsense. Not believable at all. All this is an opportunistic asshole taking advantage of hurt feelings of an already, like, enfrenzied fan base who was enfrenzied by Vic Mignogna himself to grift, to make money. This is fucking what we just witnessed. And Feline makes a really good point and says, also some food for thought, if a lawyer, meaning Reiketa, had the time to do this kind of thing, which is generally the type of thing like a lawyer's assistant would do, because it takes a lot of time and effort, rather than actually, practice law, well, I don't know. Why would he want to do this instead of actually practicing law? I don't know. Why would he rather come on YouTube and lie and misrepresent a situation and the law itself to such an extreme measure? Because it's valuable to him in some capacity?
That the information is coming in. It's been looked at. It's been gone through somewhat, and it will help them in their research. All right, guys? That's what I got for you today. There's a lot of information. I hope this helps you understand how you attack something like this in this manner. And then I hope it motivates you.
You're telling other people that this is the way to handle this type of situation? Jesus Christ. You really screwed the pooch on this one, eh? You fucking ruined Vic Mignogna forever. You ruined yourself. Ty Beard is boned. Like, you fucked your friend, i.e. your real estate lawyer. Like, goddamn.
To somewhat, if you care about the situation, start doing that archiving, start sending me that information, and help out any prospective legal team that might take this on, because this would be a daunting thing to take on. Trust me. Trust me. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good night. Peace.
There was nothing. Again, all of this is based off of this fucking tweet from Mars Girl. Hard to say this, especially on a night that DBZ film dropped, and knowing that I have friends and acquaintances at Funimation. That's the blurb that he's using to say that you should go after Mars Girl's friends at Funimation, because she doesn't want to ruin something for them. Not that they gave her any information, assholes. What the fuck kind of interpretation is this? But Funimation, I think it may be time to reconsider hiring Vic as a voice actor in the future due to years and great volumes of sexual misconduct. Which means that this isn't new or made up, and it's not part of like his ruining his reputation now. This has been happening from years ago in great volumes. Trust me, bro, it's fucking nothing. This is insanity. I can't believe there is nothing in this tweet. It is so mundane. This is from a playlist, by the way, called Weeb Wars Vic Mignogna on Nick Reiketa's channel. The next video on this is titled Social Bracket Media Justice Panel. Yellow Flash Gator Anime Outsiders Talk Vic Mignogna. And it's 4 hours long. It happened... Let me just double check the date on this video. The date on this video, which was a live stream, there's playback, was February 16th. So this one was February 18th. So they actually did this one, which is early. They did this beforehand. What in the fuck? February 16th and February 18th. So they're out here fucking planning this in live streams, live, before even this video. Unfucking believable. You would like to continue this as a new series? Oh, do you want me to go through the Weeb Wars? You want me to watch all of this shit? Do you know how many videos are in this? 68! There are 68 videos in here. 4 hours, 2.5 hours, 13 minutes, 20, 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, 18 minutes, 6 minutes. Real lawyer explains the safety concerns of Monica Rial. Oh yeah, I'm sure he can just read her fucking mind, right? Right? Holy shit! No, all of these videos are Vic Mignogna stuff. This is the Vic Mignogna playlist. It is 68 videos that's just Rekieta. That's just Rekieta. This doesn't include the last video on this list. One video is not available, but this is the Vic Mignogna decision is finally in, how he lost his appeal. And that is from 2 years ago, August 19th, 2022. My brothers in Christ, this was one channel. This doesn't include the videos on Yellow Flash's channel. This doesn't even include like their videos explicitly about Mars Girl, which is inherently tied to this Vic Mignogna situation because they inherently tied them together. That umbrella guy, this gator fuckhead, this whole fucking group of YouTubers harassing a random person for daring to suggest that maybe Funimation should look into it. Funimation looking into it, doing an investigation, and doing something as if that's her fault. As if it's her fault that even if she had the power to initiate an investigation by Funimation, that the results of that investigation would be her fault in the first place, which is insane. To the point of 5 years of litigation, and 4 years of litigation, 5 years of fucking harassment that is still ongoing to this day. Even I get fucking Vic Mignogna fans being like, and I just don't fucking give a shit. Bro, we will continue looking at this because I want to look at that Umbrella guy who was last we looked at him was engaging in Nick Rekieta drugs and child neglect apologetics. And we're going to take a look at the Yellow Flash. Maybe the Yellow Flash has changed his tune since Rekieta got real mad at him for daring to have an issue with Nick's legal situation. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back on Monday with more of this retrospective. No. It's not because I don't want to do it. It's because it's too much to do. I would love to do a whole watch all of these, but it is so much fucking content. We might be able to do more once I'm done reading Project 2025, because that will open up a couple of days, which I will be back with more of tomorrow, and we're going to take one of those days of covering Project 2025. We're going to take one of those days and replace it with JD Vance's dossier until we're done on those ones. So yeah, no, we're going to keep looking at this. I want to see what... So here's the layout, right? Next Monday, we're going to look at probably the Yellow Flash. We're going to go back and find his oldest video about the Vic Mignogna situation and see what he said. Then we'll go to that Umbrella guy, and then maybe Gator. I'll see if there's any others. If you know of any, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to check them out. And then we're going to pick one video from each that's like midway through the issue, and then we'll look at their last video on it to see if any of them ever actually learned anything, changed their tunes. From my understanding, none of them have actually fucking ever told the truth about this situation. But we're gonna see. We'll keep going. We're gonna pick at this a little bit. We're gonna look here, we're gonna look there. We're gonna kind of break this fucking harassment campaign down, because there is no other way to describe this harassment. This is grifting off of harassment. That's what this is. Grifting off of harassment. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to get on out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow for more Project 2025. Bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Go home. See you later. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye now.